Live from KPIX5, this is the 2018 San Francisco Pride Parade, celebrating generations of strength.
Well, I love that contingent because it had a lot of the messages about the border, about reversing some of the advances we've made. It's not over yet.
Yeah, so what you're seeing is the continuance of the resistance contingent. There are several groups who are marching with the border directors who are calling attention to some of the issues impacting our community by this current administration. And as Anita, our vice president of San Francisco Pride, had mentioned, this started last year, and it was a direct call to resist the administration. This is what's going on right now.
And it's always been political, hasn't it, the parade?
Absolutely. I would argue that the parade stays political. It just has evolved to become also a celebration, but it's all of it. That's what, San Francisco Pride and Pride Celebration's all about. We remember what it was the very first year, and we remember we celebrate what it is today.
Well, we often talk about the balance because we want it to be a party. We want to celebrate, but don't forget that the struggle's not over.
But, being gay or lesbian or transgender or bisexual or questioning, it is a political statement in a way because we were discriminated against for so many years. Just being born gay in this country made you take a political side as you grew up and came out, right?
Absolutely, and I would also add that even today we experience discrimination, and not every city out there in America is what we're seeing today in San Francisco. The celebration, the love, the support from all communities. We still experience discrimination from the legal aspect as well as the social aspect, and some kids or some people who have said to the community, why do we need a gay pride? Why don't we have a straight pride? Well, how would you answer that, Hank?
Why don't they have they get to have straight pride every day.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
This is Kevin De Leon, a state senator running for Senate against Senator Dianne Feinstein. She is beating him 2-1 in the polls, but there's 46% undecided, so that's what he's banking his hopes on right now. Dianne Feinstein, of course, who turned 85 years old on Friday.
And this resistance contingent continues here. And Michelle, this was really your brainchild. There was pressure at some point to make the parade more of a protest, and you came up with sort of this happy medium to be able to have a parade and a protest at the same time.
Yeah, the board and I last year went away on a retreat, and we had this conversation. And the thing about, San Francisco Pride is we are proud of the fact that we want to make it accessible. Our founding fathers had always said that it should be accessible to just about everyone, and it should be inclusive. But of course, we can't ignore what's happening currently in this political atmosphere and how it's impacting the LGBTQ community. And so in order to be as inclusive as possible, we thought that the resistance contingent would be also a great way for the protest element of San Francisco Pride and the parade.
And look, the impact you have when you group all of these different groups together. Their specific causes, maybe a focus that they have, and the impact of all of them together really is wonderful.
Lots of flags coming down the parade route now. This is Senator Kamala Harris's contingent. Kamala Harris, an Oakland native who's currently serving her first term as U.S. Senator from California. When she was the state's Attorney General, she officiated the first same-sex marriage in San Francisco between Kristen Perry and Sandy Steer. In 2017, she co-sponsored the Therapeutic Fraud Prevention Act, which would ban conversion therapy nationwide. So as we said, still fighting some of those battles.
And she also best allies.
She also fought something called the gay panic defense, where people would go into court and say, well, I committed this crime because I was panicked because he or she hit on me.
Now, Jackie Ward is live with us down with Senator Harris. Jackie?
Riding right along, Senator Kamala Harris, to be honest. Senator, so great to see you. What a day, huh?
It's a great day. It's a great day.
Generations of Strength is the theme. How fitting is that, you think?
It's perfect. There are so many people who are part of this movement who have been fighting for generations and are fighting for the right things and for what we know should be the way that we always express our love of our country, which is we're going to fight for everyone's equal rights. We're going to fight for always doing the right thing, and especially in these moments where there are those who want to sow hate and division among us, we're not going to buy it. We know we all have so much more in common than what separates us, and I think this celebration is a celebration of everyone who was a part of that beautiful rainbow.
How does this this inspire you to come back home when you're up in D.C.? Just to remind you.
It reminds me that this is who we are. Look around you. This is who we are. This is about a celebration of all members of the community coming together, respecting each other, loving each other, and this is who we are.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you.
We love you, Kamala. You keep persisting.
Next, we have Representative Nancy Pelosi, first woman Speaker of the House. She has spent more than a quarter-century in Congress breaking barriers and promoting equal rights for all Americans. As Speaker, she famously led the fight for a fully inclusive hate crimes bill and repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and she's been a staunch advocate for marriage equality in Congress.
And you know, she was one of the people who got that money here when I talked about in the 80s, San Francisco having a bigger AIDS budget than the federal government had. It was Nancy Pelosi, it was Dianne Feinstein, and it was then Assembly Speaker Willie Brown who got that money here. It's important to remember who your friends are, don't you think?
Yes, I love the story Nancy says. When she went to Congress, they said, now be quiet, it's your first term. She said, no, I'm here to talk about AIDS.
Yeah.
We have Liam Makelem on the parade route now, joining us live. Liam.
All right, I'm here with Leader Pelosi. Leader Pelosi, I know you've done many parades. We're honoring today those who came before us, generations of strength. To you, how does this speak to you?
This is a very special day today because it's always been about pride, it's been about family, and today is about patriotism too. It's always been that, but it's very clear that this organizing, not agonizing, of this community has really made a difference across the board in our society. So I come here usually to show respect, but today to say thanks.
Politics have always been part of the Pride Parade. On this day, as you got up this morning, what was on your mind in terms of politics and our LGBTQ community?
Well, I got up very early this morning. It would have been 1 a.m. this time. I was on the East Coast, and it was, what a day. What a day to make a statement, to show our pride, to give our thanks, to love our country, and to do so in a way that is quite different from what we are seeing in Washington, D.C.
Leader Pelosi, thank you for your leadership. Back to you guys.
You know, you always hear that Baltimore accent in her a little bit. Her father was Tommy D'Alessandro, the legendary strongman, the mayor of Baltimore. He was also in Congress, and her brother was also in Congress. You still hear that a little bit in her.
We are going to go from Liam to Jackie Ward, who is back live on the parade route. Jackie.
Hi there. Yeah, we are waiting for Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom to make his way toward us. He's got quite a contingent here. Very colorful, of course. Lots of different families. We even got some furry canine friends with us today. We are looking through the crowd to see if we can find Gavin. I spotted him. I'm going to make my way. Excuse me. Hey, Gavin, how are you? Nice to see you, Lieutenant Governor.
Nice to see you.
Back for another Pride Parade?
Yeah, absolutely. And I seem to say this every year, but every year I honestly mean it. Like, this is the most important year, and this time I can truly say that with conviction, with all the border separations, with folks being torn asunder because of our president. Here we are celebrating the things that unite us, people coming together across their differences, celebrating what makes us proud. And that's our ability to live together across our differences. It's a special place, California.
Well, you have a big election, obviously, coming up in just a few months. A little side note there.
Yeah.
But what is your goal if you do become governor as far as continuing to fight?
Leadership, right? California is America's coming attraction. Future happens here first. So we don't want to just be in a defensive frame. We're not just running to be head of the resistance. Resist we will, but a positive alternative, sort of painting in bright colors. Because we really are. California has so much to export, and this is a point of principle. Our values are defined by our diversity, celebrating, not tolerating that diversity.
POTUS is not a friend of California's right now.
No.
Does that intimidate you at all?
Not at all. Quite the contrary. This is the 5th largest economy in the world. It's the most diverse economy, the most diverse democracy in America. In every way, shape, or form, what scares Trump is California's success, and we're going to maintain that.
Enjoy the day. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor.
That I don't agree with. If he becomes governor, he'll be our next governor.
You know, I got to say, it was 14 years ago that Mayor Newsom decided to start issuing marriage licenses, and boy, did that change everything.
You talk about landscape changing.
It did, and you know, fellow Democrats didn't like it. He was putting them in uncomfortable positions, forcing them to take positions. So good for him for doing that.
On the right side of history.
Yeah.
We talk about politicians all wanting to be part of this. There's a guy with street cred as far as this goes.
Yeah.
Impressive. Up next, we have State Senator Scott Wiener, represents all of San Francisco, Broadmoor, Colma, Daly City, and portions of San Francisco, and is pushed to make housing more affordable, increase access to health care, and reduce gun violence. He's also joined by Senators Ricardo Lara, Bill Don, Bob Wachowski, Assembly Member Cecilia Aguilar-Curry, and Board of Equalization Member Fiona Ma.
And here's somebody that came from our community. He was a supervisor of District 8, which includes the Castro, and has moved now up to state leadership. Great guy.
He's a smart guy. He went to Harvard, I think.
Yes, he did. He's writing a lot of key legislation now, too. Very smart.